everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to another Motivational Monday message. So today's message, we're going to talk about distractions. So we're going to talk about not letting today's distraction stop us from tomorrow's destiny. We're not going to let today's distraction stop us from tomorrow's destiny. All right. So one of my biggest distractions is social media. I hate to say that, but it is social media. I find myself on Facebook. I find myself on TikTok. Just scroll, especially when them kids of mine send me a good TikTok, and I find myself just keep right on going. I be going to the people's page and be like, what else they got funny that I can sit here and laugh at? Anyway, so this little distraction, this 2-minute or not even 2 minutes, sometimes a 15-second distraction has turned into like 2 hours. So I say all of that to say that a distraction will slow you down or stop you from where you're going. A distraction will slow you down or stop you from where you're going. And the enemy will definitely send a lot of distractions your way. Think about it. When you ride, if you nosy like me, which I know y'all are, y'all nosy just like me. When you ride past an accident, you get distracted by the accident, you start to slow down. And you start to hold up traffic because you want to see what's going on when it really ain't none of your business. It's not you. It ain't none of your business. The police are already over there. The fire truck, the ambulance is already over there. It is none of your business, but yet we still slow down. Even though you be praying, talking about, Lord, just protect them. Lord, just heal them. Lord, I just pray that they're okay. Yeah, you praying, but you still being nosy. That's me. I'll be praying for them, but I'll be like, well, what happened? What really happened? Anyway, that's me. I got distracted. I slowed down. Now I'm stuck at a red light. At the end of the day, now the distraction has stopped me. Literally has stopped me. And the enemy will do that. He's going to send distractions your way to stop you. Why does he want to stop you? Why does the enemy not want me to go where I'm supposed to go? Why does he want to slow me down? Because the enemy knows. He knows the word. And the word says that the plans that God has for you are of good and not disaster. The word also said that Jesus died that you may have life and have it more abundantly. So when the enemy sees that right now in your little struggle, he's not trying to let you go. He want to keep you in bondage. He want to keep you held up. He want to keep you chained up. So he's going to send you distractions so that you can't get to your destiny. He's going to send you distractions so he makes sure that you cannot get everything that God has promised you, everything that God said that you can have. He is trying to keep you chained up and in bondage and in strongholds so that you can continue to live in pity, so you can continue to live in worry, so you can continue to live in depression. See, he likes those dark clouds over you. He loves those little dark clouds over you because those dark clouds eat up your faith. Those dark clouds keep you in fear. Those dark clouds have you speaking negative all the time. And he is fine with that because he knows the power of the mouth. He knows that you have a life or death in your tongue. He knows that you have the power to tell a mountain to move and the mountain will move. So he does not want you to use those things because he doesn't want you to have that abundant life. He does not. So as long as that little cloud is over your head and as long as he slows you down or he stops you in your current position, he is fine with that. So he sends these little distractions. And it's not just always social media. It's not always social media. A lot of times he gets you distracted on what you do not have. You so distracted on what you do not have and you're focused on what you don't have. I don't have money for this and I don't have money for that and I don't have the skills for this and I can't do this because I don't have the ability to do this, when you need to be focused on what you do have. Why are you not focused on working what you do have? One thing about it is God has given you everything that pertains to life and godliness. That means if something leaves your life, It is not necessary for the life and godliness that God has already prepared for you. It's not necessary for where God is about to take you. It's not necessary for you to go ahead and move into this destiny that God has already prepared for you. So if it leaves your life or you don't have it in your life, it's not necessary at that moment. It is not necessary at that moment. But the enemy will have you stuck. And he will have you pondering on, why don't I have this? And he have you comparing yourself to people. And one thing you got to remember is that your story is not like anybody else's story. God has uniquely made you to walk this journey. It's something special about you. It's this special gift that you have that nobody else has. So your journey and your story is not going to line up like anybody else. But you have to focus on what you have. You have to focus on the skill and the gift that you have, and don't worry about what you do not have, because guess what? If it's needed, God is going to provide it at the right time that it is needed. So the enemy will get you with that distraction on, oh, I don't have this and I don't have that. Another distraction that he will get you on is your self-esteem, child. And he likes to play with your self-esteem. He loves to play with your self-esteem. And one of the things that he loves to do with your self-esteem, to make it seem like you are not good enough. Honey, when you remember that you are a treasured possession, that you are a kingdom child, that you are a child of a king, when you remember who you are and whose you are, ain't nowhere in the world the enemy gonna be able to tell you who you are. He's not gonna be telling you that you're not good enough when you are better than good enough. See, I told you before, like you have this gift. Do not ever let the enemy tell you that you don't have a skill, you don't have an ability, or you don't have this or that to do what God has called you to do. Everything that you need is already in you. Everything that you need to be successful, which is Deuteronomy 8:18, everything that you need to be successful is already in you. Success is already in you, sis. Success is already in you. All you got to do is get out of the boat and just step into where God has called you to. Do not allow the enemy to try to make you think like, if God has put you in a position, if he has called you to a position where you don't have the degree that they were calling for, you don't have the years of service that they were calling for, but yet God decided to put favor over your life and put you in that position. When he's called you to be a business owner and you've never ran a business, you don't have a mentor to run a business, but yet he has called you to be a business owner, you better believe, baby, he's going to give you everything that you need to be what he called you to be. And I don't care if you feel like, all right, I took the leap of faith. You think God has brought you this far to literally drop you off and just say, figure it out yourself? Absolutely not. God is not going to punish you for stepping out on faith. God is not going to punish you for trusting him. But you better believe he's going to make sure that you are equipped. He is going to make sure that you are equipped to take care of the business that he has sent you to handle. He told the disciples, don't take no money, don't take your shoes, don't take no food, because everything is going to be provided along the way. They went with nothing, and yet everything that they needed was provided along the way. God is just waiting for you to get outside of the boat, and everything that you needed that pertains to your destiny is going to be provided for you along the way. You just have to believe it. So when the enemy starts to tell you that you're not qualified or that you're not good enough, listen, you got to call those things that are not as though they were. You got to say, I am successful. Even when you don't feel it, you have to say, I am successful. I do have the skills. I am going to exceed in whatever position I am. I am going to be a millionaire in my business. Like, you got to start speaking that thing, even though you don't see it. And I think I said it in my last session, or I might have said it on the podcast, is that you have to allow your faith to produce things when your mind says it's impossible. When your mind says it's impossible and it doesn't look like it's possible, you have to allow your faith to produce that. Your faith is your currency at that moment. Your faith is going to pay for whatever it is that you put your faith on. You have to allow your faith to produce some things for you. And you can't get out. So don't allow the enemy to distract you with you're not good enough. Who cares? God's put me in this position. Clearly, he has seen something in me. He's seen this gift in me. And when he starts to allow your gift to make room for you, there is nothing that anybody else can do. See, a lot of y'all, listen here, a lot of y'all are shrinking yourselves to be accepted in rooms that you're really not supposed to be in. You're scared to step into a bigger room to spread your wings because you're scared of rejection. You're scared of a no. You're scared that you won't be accepted. But God said, your gift is going to make room for you. Stop shrinking yourselves to fit in rooms just to be accepted. Stop shrinking yourselves in rooms because you don't want to hear a no. Because guess what? You only need one yes. So if somebody says no, then God has another door open for you. That's not the door that you're supposed to go in. That room is too small. But he has something way bigger for you, waiting on you, that he's ready for you to spread your wings, but you keep shrinking down, trying to allow people to be comfortable with you, when God says, I created you to be uncomfortable. Because guess what? When you're uncomfortable, then your faith is on high, and it's impossible to please God without faith. So when you're uncomfortable and your faith is steady increasing, your ways are pleasing unto the Lord because you're depending on him for everything. So quit trying to spend time in a room that makes you comfortable and get ready to get into a room that makes you uncomfortable, that is going to allow your gift to make room for you. That's all he wants you to do. He wants to use that gift that nobody else has, that gift that only you have, that is meant to impact people that are connected to you. It's only you that have certain people that where your testimony or your gift is going to impact their lives, and they are waiting on you. You have to step outside the boat, grab the hand of God, and allow him to lead you to where he's calling you. Don't allow the enemy to distract you with negativity. Don't allow the enemy to distract you with doubt. Don't allow the enemy to distract you with worry. Don't let the enemy distract you with a no. God is waiting for your yes, for you to get out the boat and say, God, whatever it is that you need me to do, I'm going to do. And guess what? Your obedience, you're going to get a reward. You're going to be rewarded for your obedience. God is just waiting for you to say yes, and he's going to open up doors that you didn't even think were possible. That's all. He's waiting for you to say yes. But the enemy a lot of times distracts you with your now. He makes you look at your now, and it seems like, you know what, this is not right for me. I don't know how in the world this is going to happen. My bank account is negative, but God told me that I'm supposed to be in this abundant life. My marriage is in shambles, but God said whatever he brought together, let no man separate. Girl, start speaking life. Speaking life, call those things that are not as though they were. My marriage is healed. My finances are healed. My finances are overflowing. I have more money than I can spend. When you start speaking those things as though they were, then things start to happen. Things start to change. Call those things that are not as though they were. Start calling things. Start speaking things. God said you have the power of life and death in your tongue. So many of us are speaking negative. We are speaking so negative that we're wondering why we're producing negative things, why we're not moving out of the position where the enemy has this sight in front of you where you're just looking at now. And God said, I need for you to look ahead at the prize that lies ahead. It's something ahead of you that God is wanting you to have. It's something ahead of you that God is trying to get you to, but you have to get out of your now. You have to get out of neutral, and you have to get your car into drive, and you have to push yourself into the destiny that God has called you to be. Quit sitting in neutral. Quit allowing the enemy to take over and allow you to be stuck in this now when he's like, tomorrow's destiny is waiting on you. Tomorrow's destiny is waiting on you. He has great plans for you. He has great plans for you. He did not say that, listen, the plans are going to lead to disaster. He said the plan is going to the plans that he has for you are good and not disaster. He said that Jesus died that you may have life and have it more abundantly. He doesn't want you to be stagnant. He don't want you to be comfortable, but he's ready to give you this abundant life. But because you can only see your right now, because you can't even see yourself past that, I need for you to start dreaming again. I need for you to start writing a vision down and making it plain, because guess what? Even though it may tear, you wait on it and it's going to come to pass. You have to get back to dreaming. You have to get back to speaking those things that you want to happen. You want your kids back in order? The seed of the righteous shall be saved and delivered. Start finding a scripture that lines up with what God has told you that you can have and start speaking that thing over your situation. Don't allow the enemy to continue to have strongholds over you. Don't allow him to continue to keep you in bondage and have chains over you. No, you speak yourself free. You have that power. You speak that stuff. You speak yourself free. He has given you the power to tell mountains to move. He has given you the power to tell mountains to move. Use what's in your mouth. Use what's in your mouth. The enemy is distracting you with your noun. He's distracting you with your self-esteem, and he's distracting you with what you do not have. He's trying to slow you down and stop you from getting to what God has promised you. He's promised you life. You shouldn't just be existing. You should be living. You should be living, enjoying every moment. Listen, sis, I know it looks impossible. I promise you, I know this thing looks impossible. But I believe God, just like he parted the Red Sea. He parted that Red Sea, and he had them waters held up like walls so that they could get to the other side. God, the thing that was meant to break you, the thing that is meant to destroy you, the thing that is meant to kill you, God has held up. He has walled up so that you can make it to the other side. And you better believe if the enemy comes after you, just like they did with the Israelites, guess what? That water is going to come flooding down and kill every enemy. The enemy is trying to get a hold of you, and God said, it's not going to happen. It is not going to happen because you are his child. You are a king's kid. You are a king's kid. You are a child of the king. A 1,000 cattle on the hill belong to him. Everything on this earth belongs to him. You are his child. You would inherit it all. But you got to believe that in your heart. When you start believing it in your heart and not believing it in your mind, believe it in your heart and watch those things come to pass. Just watch. But do not allow the enemy to distract you today, and it's going to stop you from tomorrow's destiny. You cannot allow that. Girl, you got so much waiting on you. Sis, you have so much waiting on you. Like, God wants to give you so much. Like, he has abundance waiting on you. You got to get out your own head. You have to get out of your own head. You have to get away from your own thinking. And you have to believe that what God has for me is for me. Start telling him what you want. Start speaking. He said, if you pray it and believe it in your heart, it shall come to pass. Start writing it down. Write the vision. Make it plain. And though it may tarry, you still wait on it. Start following the basic principles and watch things start to change in your life. Even just start, I dare you today, just start talking different. Start talking positive when things are going wrong in your life, when things are going wrong in your personal life. Just start to think positive and start speaking positive and watch how better you feel. Just see how better you feel. Watch the change. I promise you. I promise you. It's something great waiting on you, sis. It is something great waiting on you, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait and to hear y'all's testimony on how just by changing your language, by changing your tone, by doing some of the basic principles that are in the Bible, and just watch how things start to change and things start to manifest. I can't wait. I cannot wait. So, I thank y'all for tuning in to another Motivational Monday message. That's like a tongue twister. Motivational Monday message. Anyway, we'll be back next Monday. I love you guys.